Some years back, there's a woman who's transsexual, Sidney Starr. She accused Chingy of, she said that the two of them had an ongoing relationship, right? And I interviewed both her and Chingy after the fact, right? When that happened, Chingy had a major label deal on the table, which fell through.
It injured my career a little bit. I watched it happen. I lost a deal because of that.
You lost a deal over this?
Yeah, I lost a deal because of that. A record situation. I lost a deal because of that.
Well, how did you know that it was over that?
Because it was said to me. Because there was so much bad publicity around that. It's crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy, man. Like, I've never been through a sabotaging situation like that, and it was so fabricated and false. And I watched people take to it, and it was just crazy, man. I can't even. It was beyond me.
But what had happened was, after the fact, Sidney came forward and said, all this is untrue. At what point did you decide to, put out the story that you and Chingy had some sort of romantic relationship?
Oh, I would say the time that I put that story out was probably like 2 years after we took those pictures together. And I know that sounds crazy, but I had a lot of people in my ears. I had a lot of people saying like, girl, do you know woo woo woo? If you do this, baby, you gonna be on top. You gonna be all over the blogs. And I was like, I have been trying to get out there like that. Cause this backup dancing thing ain't been doing too good. Like, I've been doing these gigs here and there, but it ain't been getting me where I wanna be. It's been getting me around a lot of celebrities, I will admit that. But I kinda got tired of being the one, oh, can I take a picture with you? Like, I want to be the one that you're asking to take a picture with me. So, like, I think at that time I was younger. I was really dumb-minded, young-minded, and I did it. I was like, you know what? Let's do this shit. So I talked about it, and it went viral. Like, I was like, damn, I didn't think I had this much power. And to be honest, if I could change the hands of time, I would have never did that shit.
The question that I have to keep asking is like, did he file charges? Was he vulnerable enough to come forward and say, this happened to me, it's an issue, and I need support, right? Because that's what women are doing. We're being vulnerable enough to come forward with our stories and say, I need help. This is happening to me. I don't want my daughters to go through this. I want to tell my story. If he is a man, decided to go take it, pack it up, and go home with it, you cannot blame that on other people. You have a responsibility to be as vulnerable as I'm being. Why is it okay? So now what my son is suggesting is that I, as a woman, who I'm already dealing with all the stuff that I'm impacted by, the fact that particularly being a black woman that has all different types of issues, then I'm dealing with rape culture, I'm dealing with, sexual harassment, all these things. And now I'm actually supposed to stand up and speak on behalf of men as well who are not willing to speak up on their own behalf. It doesn't make sense.
It's not so much that you speaking on behalf of men. It's just like this work that we do. And we fight against racism, we fight against Black Lives Matter, but we fight
against Black Lives Matter?
No, I mean, we fight to show that Black Lives Matter. So what happened is we fight for the Puerto Ricans, we fight for Latinos, we fight for all people who are being discriminated against. We don't just fight for black people, because we understand that this one fight is going to elevate everyone. So this is a fight against sexuality. This is a fight.
Sexuality. It's a fight against
rape culture. So rape culture exists on both ends. So when you just fight it from one end, then you're not really truly ending rape culture. You're perpetuating a reality that women can continue to do this and it's okay because you're not fighting it from both spectrums.
In the fight I'm still saying There is no way for men to get around the fact that they have to be vulnerable and speak out. And the reason why I'm saying it is because I can't make the case that the Latino community needs help if the Latino community is not out there saying, I need help.
But a bunch of men have said it.
But they
Nelly
and
came
guess
up
what?
to you. I said, what happens when y'all keep
no.
lying on me? It's
Excuse
every
me,
man has said it.
my son.
If
The
a
men
woman
have
comes
come
forward right
forward, the
now and
men
says,
have come
yo,
forward.
this man raped me, the police is coming to her door the next day. They're going to pick up the charges.
And
if a man said this lady lied to me, she lied on me, she did this, nobody's calling him, nobody's going to try to figure it out.
There's also
that's not accurate.
There's also very much a double standard.
It is.
It is a double
when it
standard.
comes to, for example, statutory rape.
Yeah.
Whereas I just had D. Ray Davis.
I've been, as a young guy, my mother's friends my mother was involved in a lot of stuff, but I've had older women who thought I wasn't being parented correctly, slightly try to take advantage of me, and not slightly, have taken advantage of me.
You lost your virginity to two 30-year-olds?
Yeah.
At the same time?
Yeah, two ugly, horrible looking women.
And you were?
What was I?
You were how old?
11.
11.
Going to 12. I had no hair on me.
Right.
I remember not having, and it was disgusting. And to this day, it's difficult for women to get me to go down. It's difficult. The girls that have had it, you're welcome. But it's hard. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to go down, man, because I remember what it was like down there. It was like a scary jungle. It was a terrible place to be. It was a terrible place to be, and they were like taking turns. I was just happy to be up, and it made my Kool-Aid taste different for a long time.
And I'm thinking in my mind, like, if he was female, this would so not be funny. But
Right.
it's kind of funny the way he's describing it. I'm wondering why that is, because essentially it's the same thing.
And I'm explaining to you what it is. Again, there's no way to get around it. This has been created by men at an ancient time. And there was this attitude that men are macho, we're machismo, and so when it happens to us, it's not something that is that serious or something that we talk about, we just deal with it, it's okay. Women are more precious, and you can't abuse women and what have you. And you have to consider the idea that women were always at a disadvantage physically in terms of positions of power. Women have always been at a disadvantage. So therefore, when we come through telling our stories, it is a way bigger thing. If we want to deal with rape culture, we have to go back to where it started and how and those who were involved in creating what it looks like. Right? And then start from there. And if you understand where rape culture started from, men in positions of power were using their power over other men and women. Because if you look back at ancient history, it's not like they were just sleeping with girls. They were sleeping with young boys as well. So if you know that, then that means men have a major responsibility and it's like asking, we're going to white folks saying, I know you didn't have slaves, and I understand that you have black friends. But if you want to see racism addressed, white people have to be as involved because it starts with your people. Your people started this. So if you want it to be fixed, then you have to be at the table leading the conversation when talking to other white people about racism, which means that men have to be at the table having conversations with other men about what rape culture looks like, how we have to stop it, and even protect our own men from it happening to them. And all I'm saying is that in terms of organizing for particular communities, I think what my son is saying is 100% right. We need to be speaking out against women who are making our cases the true cases of where people are really impacted, diluting the power of those stories by people not telling the truth in other situations.
Right, because I could tell you, and this was an off the record conversation, so I can't say who it came from, okay. But when this thing in Hollywood started to swell, so many checks started getting written.
Right.
In these Hollywood studios. So many women came forward with accusations, blackmail, whatever, extortion, with everything in between, because now, I mean, there's certain people are just going to take advantage
I knew that
of
was
this.
going to
You
happen.
leave the door open.
Yeah, you left the door open, and literally these executives are just cutting extortion checks.
Right.
So just praying that their name doesn't come up
Right.
and this type of thing, because Harvey Weinstein is banned from everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Louis C.K. lost a whole bunch. Lost his show, lost his Netflix special, lost a movie. Kevin Spacey's out. Like, you're seeing massive repercussions to all these. Now, Louis C.K. admitted to it. Mm-hmm.
Kevin Spacey kinda said, I don't remember that, but I was
Yeah.
off the chain, so anything could have happened. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, we're making the case that people are lying, people whatever. But these folks who are writing checks, some of them know I may not have done it to her or to him, but I know I was doing it. And I know that, as my son always says, it was the culture, right? Like, everybody was, like, the whole issue with Bill Cosby is like, the Quaaludes or whatever the drug is, people were using it. It was the thing that was happening. He was a man in power, and women were showing up hoping that, I could get a role. And then these things may or may not have been happening. I believe that it happened to some, and there may be some that it didn't happen to.
I'm going to tell you something, and I say this all the time. Y'all young boys with these mollies, and you're giving these girls these mollies. In 10 years, you will be Bill Cosby. I'm just letting you know right now, do not give girls Hennessy, Long Island iced tea, or mollies.
Hennessy even?
I'm telling you. Those things, stay
Just
away
go
from
to church with them.
I'm telling you, go to church, have a conversation, get a contract signed, get a voice saying, I permit. I'm telling you, I tell my son this all the time. Like, it's a way different era. You can't just assume. You can't do things. Like, the culture has changed, and we got to be a lot more responsible. And that's the conversations that I'm having with men. Me and Tamika have this conversation. I want women to have the same conversations. That's all.
And
it
we
is.
do. Every day. My mother, when we're growing up, the conversation in our household is, don't wear this, don't say this, don't go here, we are victim blamed from birth. Girls are treated differently. Everywhere we go, whether it be church, anywhere, people talk about, how we can't, we shouldn't, don't, that it's your fault if something happens to you. Women have been hearing that since the beginning of time. And young men, this is the difference. A girl has 5 boyfriends, she's a hoe. A guy has 5 girlfriends, he's the man. That's the way that we've been divided in communities. And I'm saying that culture has to shift in order to get to a place where people understand you actually have to respect the person that you're sleeping with.
Well, ultimately, any type of change is uncomfortable.
Hello.
If you wanted to change where you lived,
It's painful.
It's a process. It's uncomfortable. It's, you're not going to like the process.
Nope. And you're going to find some stuff that you
Yeah.
threw to the side.
Exactly.
Dug underneath,
So ultimately, from a higher level, I feel that what's happening is good. I feel it's going to create real change, because I feel that now, for the first time, a lot of people are seeing repercussions for their actions,
Yeah.
whereas before it was just brushed under the table.
Yep.
Social media has changed the control of, the 5 or 6 media outlets that were existing before. And, there is going to be a couple people that are, they're going to take L's who probably didn't do anything, but
Yep.
just got caught up in this whole whirlwind
Yep.
that's happening. But I think that after the dust settles, ultimately we'll have a better place to live in.
I think so.
I agree.
I think women deserve to be treated with respect and dignity, and we need to restore that even for ourselves. So this is an opportunity for that to happen. And we don't want to see that young boys going into an industry, because hip hop really hasn't told its story.
No, not at all. If you look at all the people, none of them are rappers. None
Exactly.
of them are R&B
That's why I try to tell my son all the
singers.
time. This is not about. Don't step
But it
into
just
a fight that
you can't step
doesn't
into
have
a fight.
anything
It's
to
just
do
that
with you.
You realize that something is coming. You understand what I'm saying?
It may need
it's
to.
like that woman, when people start seeing that they're able to cash in on something, then you realize things are coming. It's not like this is new, that women have always lied or been accused of lying. We've seen that they've lied on artists from time to time. So now, when it's the in thing, and it's the popular in thing, and the girl that was in high school that slept with one of her favorite rappers, and he never called her back, you know, and now she's like, well, I could say this happened, and get some type of notoriety and get some money from it. Like, what's to stop her from doing it? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's happening. I'm just trying to say, what is the stop? What is to stop somebody from doing these things? And if we don't put things in place,
stop it from doing it is that all the men that feel that this is a problem need to actually do what women do: get together, have conversation, and say, this is how we think that this movement should be structured. Get you a hashtag.
okay.
That's what it is. Well, Tamika, Mysonne,
Thanks,
Yes.
thank you for coming through.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
You know, until next time.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Thank
Peace.
you.